I am the Big Tank.
On the battlefield of life, nothing's harder than a tank. Yeah, have you ever met a man, hearts full of love, bigger than a tank?
Big Tank.
He served in a few wars. He's a veteran that stands for a cause. For the best interviews and news, just keep it glued to the tank.
I am the tank, Big Tank.
BigTankTalk.
Tank.
BigTankTalk.
Tank.
A very, very warm welcome to Big Tank's Talks. Tonight, we are going to interview Big Tank himself. Thank you, Paul, very much for the thumbs up there. So, we are going to interview the very best man here himself, Big Tank. This is someone I actually class as one of my best friends. And he is a huge supporter, not just for myself, but for a lot of creators on here. Welcome, Big Tank.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys taking over for me and interview me today.
Absolutely. So we're going to start as we would normally do with all the guests on Big Tank's Talk. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to Clapper.
Okay. I am a disabled Navy veteran. Now officially retired. I took early retirement for Social Security, so I really have a lot of time on my hands. I came to Clapper back in 2020 because I even then was tired of the BS on TikTok and the constantly being censored. So, over there's words you can't say without getting penalized in some way, shape, or form. So I came here in 2020. Then I had my first account here banned by Clapper for being too political, and when they decided they wanted to be less political. So I had to start this account, which I've been on since March of 2021.
Do you know what? I will admit, I do appreciate, and I, like everybody else, will appreciate everything that you do on this app, to be honest. So I'm going to ask the first question here, guys. So what qualifications does a creator have to get an interview with Big Tank?
Well, honestly, there's really not a lot of qualifications. Don't be blocked by Big Tank is a good one, because if I blocked you, I'm not going to bring you in here and interview you. But I've interviewed so many different types of creators. To me, if you're interesting enough that I want other people on Clapper to know about you, then you're worth being a guest here to be interviewed. And I think I've done a good job of bringing a wide variety of creators here to be interviewed. And I've been blessed that so many have been willing to be interviewed by me.
Okay, Lena's asking, why did you start doing interviews? What was your inspiration behind it?
Well, it started back when I was hanging out with Matt Gardner and some friends that were heavily involved in music. And one of the friends suggested I should do an interview show and post it on YouTube. So I started interviewing people on StreamYard. I wasn't doing live interviews. I was recording them and then posting them on YouTube. And I started with the 4 or 5 people that were doing the music. That's Matt Gardner and his other friends. And then from there, I started asking at that time, some of the people I was better friends with, including you, Val, to be guests for interview. And then Just Matthew and I formed TMI, and we started doing live interviews, he and I together. Well, some things, things changed, and that changed. So at the beginning of the year, I decided to bring back Big Tank Talk and then make it a live interview show. And that's where it's gone since then. My first guest was Piano Mike.
Even I have to admit, it is one of the best Sunday night lives, because everybody gets to meet a new creator, as we say. the pin, just missed that one. So Teddy says, how many years of service did you do? And thank you very much for your service, Tank. From both
I was active
myself
duty.
and my husband.
I was active duty for 6 years, and in reserves, active reserve for 2 more, and inactive reserve for 3 after that. So a total of 11 years. Hey, Frank, good to see you, brother.
Bugs would like to know, how did you become a true shocker?
All right, let me explain what she means by that. That's my right hand. There is a finger missing. The story for that, the day I gave my younger daughter Olivia her first pistol when she turned 16, when she was 16, I was breaking down my pistol, and I committed the cardinal sin of anybody that has a pistol. I didn't check and make sure the chamber was cleared when I was breaking the gun down. And the type of gun I had, part of breaking it down is you pull the trigger to release the slide. Well, when I pulled the trigger, I didn't release the slide. I released the bullet in the chamber, which hit me in the hand, and it split that finger and separated the bones. When I went to the hospital and I met with the hand specialist, I was told they could save the finger, but I was looking at 3 or 4 surgeries and then probably 2 years or more of rehab. I said, just take it. It's to me, it was not worth the headache of what I would have had to go through to keep the finger.
Yeah, I get that. When you do a deep dive on creators' videos, do you discover things you wish you hadn't of?
Honestly, not yet. I really, and honestly, I haven't even found things in their content that people wouldn't want to be questioned on. And I do offer my guests, as you know, Val, because I've interviewed you 3 times, I do ask my guests, is there something you don't want me to ask you about? And for the most part, everybody's like, nope, you can ask me anything. I'm an open book. And I find that helpful.
There is a question I want to put in here at the moment. You do a lot of the positivity videos, which is highly inspiring, very inspiring. And how did you get involved with Uncle Timmy and get into this?
Well, when I first started seeing the Team Positive Wave shout out videos, I loved the skits. I loved Uncle Timmy's characters and the characters by the other creators that were assisting in making the videos. So every time they put a video out, I would comment, and I would, I'd love it. And on Christmas Day of 2023, on Christmas Day 2023, I got a message from Uncle Timmy offering to bring me on board with Team Positive Waves, which I have to say made my Christmas that year, with no disrespect to Tabby and Lizzie or my daughter.
To both you and Uncle Timmy, seriously, I like some of that stuff. Really like some of that stuff. So where's the pinned comment? Okay, there was a pinned comment up there. Just give me 1 second. What is the most positive and negative experience on Clapper?
Most positive experience, probably finding out that I was voted the live stream host of the year for 2024, because it was absolutely unexpected, and it was voted on by other creators. It's not something this Clapper just said, oh, he's a good one, let's give it to him. The fact that it was voted on by other creators, and Chef Ev and Queenager, who were 2 very well-known creators on here, were encouraging their friends to vote for me, which I absolutely didn't expect. So that was probably my most positive experience. Most negative, when I got associated with a pedophile, somebody convicted of harming children, and without questioning me, I had a bunch of people I thought were friends who blocked me or just unfriended me. And at the end of the day, I've decided it's not worth my trouble to worry about it. Anybody that knows me knows better. So I just here behind me.
On that one, I have to say that, people that are associated with me, like yourself, Bugs, Paul, will get blocked because they are associated with me. So my sincere apologies to anybody that does that. What are the 10 who are the next 10 people you intend to interview?
Honestly, I can tell you the next two because I don't have anybody beyond that. The next two are Dirty's Midget, which is Little Val, who was supposed to be here today but couldn't make it, and American Truth. Beyond that, the only one I have definitely scheduled for a date is Dana Stargazer Truitt, and I believe it's the 19th of October is the day she's scheduled. Beyond that, I don't know. So if you guys know some creators you think should be interviewed, DM me and let me know. And welcome in, Diva. It's good to see you.
So Bugs is asking, when did you meet Tabby and how did you win her over?
We actually met on a phone app, of all things, called KIK Kick. And how did I win? You'd have to ask her what it was, how I won her over. I just say we hit it off really well. Our personalities mesh. The things that she liked and the things that I like blended pretty well. And when there was an opportunity to invite her to move out to Missouri to live with me, she took it. And we've been together since. So we've been together a good 8 years now.
Nice. Do you know what? We should interview Tabby at some point. She should have come in with you. Can someone put up the next pinned comment? Because for whatever reason, I can't see the pinned comment.
Yeah, it's gone. Whatever was up there is gone. Guys, if the mods help her keep up with questions. If somebody has a pinned comment and it gets replaced by another one, just repin the one before if you can keep up with them.
Yeah, please, if you don't mind, guys. So Gorilla's asking, besides the Navy, what would be your second choice? And actually, that's quite a good question. Other than the Navy, if you had another choice, what would you have done?
Are we asking, would I choose another branch of the military, or if I didn't join the military, what would be my next choice? If I had a second branch, if I could choose a second branch in the Navy, I would have joined the Marine Corps. But I was a Navy brat. My dad, my stepfather, both were Navy. And there was never a question when I decided to join the military, that's what it would be. If not the military, I probably would have continued on with, oh Christ, I don't know. I really had I was kind of without direction when I joined the Navy. That's why I joined. I was working jobs that paid enough to to take care of the bills that I had, but I didn't have a career. So I would have found a way to go to school, and probably picked a white collar job so I didn't have to get dirty all the time. Although I did enjoy the kind of work I did.
Okay. There was another question before that. So yeah, I'll ask that one because someone put up Teddy's. Bugs asks, what advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
Have more confidence in myself. It's been probably the one thing about me I don't like. All of my adult life is I tend to lack confidence in it, and even in things that I shouldn't. So if I could talk to my 18-year-old self, I would encourage myself to have more confidence in myself for what I do.
Teddy was asking, what do you see in the future for you on Clapper?
On Clapper, I would just like to see, honestly, I would like to see the interview show grow. I would like to get some of the other bigger creators to agree to an interview. I would love to interview Simply Nay, for example, she's quite well known on here. And I did have her scheduled at one time, but she had something come up. So there are some other pretty good creators on here I'd love to interview that I haven't yet.
I have had the pleasure of meeting Simply Nay, so yeah, that would be quite good actually. I've actually, surprisingly enough, I've met an awful lot of creators on this app. So
other than that, I would like to meet more of my Clapper creator friends. To name a few, I would love to meet NHL PhD, which everybody knows is Tim Lazenby. I would love to meet Riley, Rebecca. I would love to meet Uncle Timmy and Lena. and Steve, LUFC official. I would love to meet some of my favorite creators on here.
I agree with that one. You do get to meet another favourite creator, Fear the Reaper, in October. So yeah, that's a good one.
And I'm looking forward to that.
Ronan was asking, are you still learning to play the guitar that you got from that great rock star?
I am practicing my chords on it, but I don't have the cord that connects the guitar to the amp, so I can actually play the chords out loud. Because when you play an electric guitar without the amp, it's not very loud. But I am practicing the chords on it, brother. And we're going to get the chord when I get paid the first of the month, and then I'll be able to start legitimately practicing chords and hearing the feedback, and then go from there.
Okay. What advice would you give anyone joining the Navy?
First piece of advice is to make sure it's what you want to do. Once you get sworn in, you're in. And second, really make the most of what you have. The variety of opportunities for work, for the kind of work you can do in the Navy, are endless. So make sure you're doing something you really want to do. And I'd say hone your people skills, because when you're in the military, you're around people a lot. If you have poor people skills, you're going to suffer. I don't care what you're doing or how good the duty station is.
Absolutely. Same with the Army. I'm a proud Army vet. Actually, I'm going to give you this one first before I do the pinned one. Tim says, how are you so dang good looking? Oh, thank you. Sorry, I thought I didn't realize you meant me there. Oh, sorry. Yeah, my beard's better than his. I'm just saying. Bet you says, what are the 3 things you have learned in your life that you wish you knew when you were younger?
There is very little in life that substitutes for self-confidence. Self-confidence makes you, it just opens doors that you may not otherwise get open. So self-confidence is a big one for me. Second, take care of your body while you're young, because if you don't, you're going to end up broken down when you're older, like I am. And because I did some stupid stuff when I was younger, lifting things that I should have used something to lift instead of just putting it in my back. So and third, as much as you can, keep a good relationship with your parents.
That one's already been done, Bugs. That's what I'm just saying. Okay, there. Nisi asks, who's your favourite clapper creator you've interviewed and why?
You're going to ask me to choose a favorite of all of my friends that I've interviewed. I will be honest.
I'm watching.
I will be honest. It's a toss-up of 3. 1, Val, because she's one of my best friends, and every interview has been very entertaining. Not just because of the questions I got to ask her, but because of the questions you guys ask her as well. Number 2, the one I did last week, the real Tim Shady, because a big focus of his interview, whether it was intended or not, is the need for good, positive men's mental health awareness and recognition, because it's a big thing for him and it's a big thing for me. And the third one, honestly, I would have to say was Raleigh Rebecca, in part because I got her to put her face on camera for an hour, which is something she doesn't do much in lives or in general. So the fact that I got her to sit on camera, and Cookie Not Hate for that matter, he also doesn't get on a camera very much, but he did for me for an hour. But don't misunderstand it. I've enjoyed every interview I've done, and you can ask Paul after every interview. I go, we'll talk, and I'll tell him that was a fabulous interview, because they are. I enjoy doing them all.
Yeah. Before I go to the pinned comment, actually, Riley says, you have accomplished so much, so why so much self-doubt?
There's a few. I think I can think of a few reasons. Number one, I think growing up in the shadow of my big brother, who never lacked for self confidence, until he joined, and he's only 11 months older than me. Until he joined the Navy and was gone, I never really had to count on myself to make friends and just do for myself. I always had him there to lean on. I think that's a big part of it, and I don't blame him for that. I blame me for that. It's just it wasn't not recognizing what I have, the capabilities I have on my own, because when I was hanging out with my brother, I didn't have to. And beyond that, I'm not really sure. I know lack of confidence is an issue that a lot of people have, and I can certainly recognize it and advise people when I see it in them a lot easier than I can when I see it in me.
Yeah, Teddy's saying, why don't you sing anymore on Clapper?
I still sing occasionally. In fact, last Tuesday I did a tribute to Elvis, and I sang 3 Elvis songs during my live. I need to practice more and get my voice back to where it was before I start singing more. And as much as I love your twisted karaoke, I'm not comfortable. I'm really just not comfortable with that. maybe in the future, but still not comfortable enough with it yet.
Here we go. I'm gonna push like Riley did there. You just need to come in and just do it and just wing it. If you have, I wing half the stuff in there when we're doing that, and I pull some stuff out of the hat. Come in and just wing it. It'll be good for you. Peter Tracy says, "What was your most scary experience when you was in the Navy? When you were in the Navy? When you were in the Navy?"
My most scary experience, believe it or not, had nothing to do with my military service. I was out drinking with some friends, and 2 of them got into a fight. So, me being me, I got between them to break it up. I got kicked in the groin twice, punched in the jaw twice. And why that was most scary for me, because when I'm angry, I feel no pain. And I literally picked this guy up and launched him into a steel door.
Wow.
Now, I felt the pain later, but at the time, and it was the fear of what I could have done if I had let myself go. And it was bad enough that I picked him up and threw him like I did.
Wow. Yeah, no, yeah, I used to learn. I learned, like you, the hard way. Take a step back, let them pick up the pieces when you're done. Sort of like when they're finished, Riley asks, if you could talk to your 5-year-old self at this moment, what would you tell yourself?
Get that out of your mouth. No. You know what? I would tell my 5-year-old self to express myself more. If when you got something to say, actually say it. One of the things I used to do until I was 14 or 15 is I kept everything internalized. I didn't, if something bothered me, I never say anything. I just let it go and keep it inside. And I'm pretty sure that's why I started having migraines at 8 years old, and why I didn't stop having them until I was 48.
Yeah. Don't hold that shit in. And that's to anybody out here in the live listening in. What was the hardest thing you ever had to do? That's from Lena. I do apologize to the one before that. But Lena was asking, what was the hardest thing you ever had to do?
Oh, probably tell my daughters at 5 and 9 that their mother and I were not going to be together anymore because I was divorcing her. Because while the older kids, my stepchildren, understood and weren't even surprised, Mary and Olivia were still little girls. So I had to try to put it in a way that they could understand, and try not to upset them while doing it.
Wow. Yeah, that's a hard one. That is a hard one. Uncle Timmy says, Tank, what makes you so happy about Clapper?
Without a doubt, it's the community, the people here, the friends that I've made. And there are such a variety of communities, and you can be a part of more than one community. That's the thing. I am part of the Clappers military community. I'm a part of Team Positive Waves. I'm a part of the Shocker crew. I'm a part of Vito's crew. And it's, I just love that. I love, um, and you don't get that on TikTok or any of the other social media apps that I've been to. So I love having so many different communities and the way they can all really kind of mesh. People can come and go through them so well. I mean, I love that about Clapper. It's my favorite thing about Clapper.
Okay. Actually, I'm going to ask this question before I get to that one because, like, that one's already been asked. But here, Karen asks, Rocking Horse asks, what did you do in the Navy?
I was a machinist mate. Now, for those of you who don't know what a machinist mate is or does, I operated, maintained, and repaired the 1,200-pound superheated steam propulsion plant for the ships that I was on. Now, if you don't, to give you an idea, superheated steam, that means it's about 950 degrees, and 1,200 psi at 950 degrees. If one of those pipes was to get a pinhole leak, it could fill the space in about 6 seconds. And if you happen to be near where that happened, that leak could cut a body part off and cauterize the wound all in one shot. So it was definitely dangerous, but I loved what I did in the Navy, and I was really good at it too.
Okay, I would just like to say, Uncle Timmy, thank you. I love Granny too. I'm just saying. What accomplishment, this is from Bet You, what accomplishment are you most proud of in your life?
My personal accomplishment is getting a bachelor's degree at 44 years old. It's not something I've used for a career because because of my physical issues, but I could also, to me, the best thing about that is that as I set the example for my kids that no matter what it is, if you want it, go get it. Don't make excuses for it. I couldn't afford to go to college out of high school. I went a year and that was it. And then I joined the Navy and life just happened. And then when I had the chance, I went for 4 straight years and I graduated with a 3.89 grade point average, which is pretty good.
Congratulations. Absolutely. No, well done. Education doesn't stop when you leave school or leave college or leave university. You learn throughout life as you're going over. I'm only giving you advice, little boy, because I'm older than you. I'm just saying. Lena asks, what was the hardest thing you've ever had to do?
I just answered that one.
Wait a minute. No. Did you? My apologies.
Telling my kids about splitting up, remember?
No, that was the accomplishment you're most proud of in your life.
No, college was the accomplishment.
Okay. That's me losing. That's me trying to keep up with all the pin stuff. My apologies to the audience. Casey asks, can you tell us the love story between you and Mrs. Tabby?
Tabby and I met on a phone app, as I said, and we started talking there. And we just knew through conversations that we fit. When you're in a relationship and it's a good one, you know it, you feel it. And we probably talked for a year before she came out to Missouri to live with me. And she's been with me since she moved out here.
Nice. Bet You says, wait, what was your major?
My major was information systems management. It's
nice.
computer.
Computers. IT, guys, IT. Oh, could someone please go back to the one that was pinned before? That's okay, I've got it. What hero in your life would you love to be able to speak with one more time? That's from Teddy.
My father. My father died 35 years ago. Bad heart. It's a condition of the men in my family, and I was 27 years old when he died. So yeah, and we both did the same job in the Navy too, coincidentally. So if I could, if I could have one more conversation with him, that would be priceless.
Yeah, for me it would be my great grandfather, but I mean, don't get me wrong, I got to meet my great grandfather, and he was
Val
born
Palmer
in 1896. So
all the
yes,
time. I love visiting friends and family, and I have a lot of each, and I'm pretty proud of that fact. My best friend has been my friend for 46 years, 47 years now. So I'm pretty blessed in that respect.
nice. Truth, truth. Oh, Truth wants to know: can you count to 10 with your fingers?
Truth, I'm going to do this just for you, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That would be yes.
Do you know what? That was perfect. Absolutely perfect. Ash would like to know who has been the person or the one that you have looked up to in your journey of life in general.
That's easy. My mother. My mother's been my best friend for most of my life. Even and it's different. It's weird. I'm 62 years old, and I still have nothing but respect for her, and still never would cross that woman because my mom is Italian. If you know anything about Italian moms, you don't get on their bad side. I'll seen her jack up my brother for being a smart ass. I mean, she had a handful of his shirt up against the wall, fist drawn back. I was waiting for her to nail him, but she didn't. But she also has offered me the most good advice in my life as I've gone. And I'm 62, she'll still give me advice. And I'll still take it because my mother is a bigger hero to me than anybody, including my dad. And that's no disrespect to him.
No, do you know what? For the majority of people, the mothers are the ones that are there. Casey asks, actually, this is quite a good question, actually. How many countries have you visited?
I will tell you, don't ask me to name them, but I've been to 22 countries. I can remember some, but not all of them by any means. My favorite was Italy. I lived there for 2 years. But there's a lot of them. Guys, if you're American and you've never been out of the United States, as soon as you can make it happen, go. There's no place like home. You'll be happy to get back to the United States when you're here. But there was something positive in every country I ever went to.
The biggest thing I think for Americans, to be honest, coming out, leaving America, and what they've grown up with, and the culture shock that they get seeing another country. Like Peter says, would you like to check out the UK? Yes, of course he would, Peter. He wants to come to Scotland, like to where I am. Like, seriously, we have met and we're going to be meeting again very shortly. But he, coming over here. Yeah, of course he wants to go to the UK.
Absolutely. I want to visit England too. There is so much history in the UK that there's no substitute for being there and seeing it if you can. I've been to Rome. I've seen the Colosseum. You can see pictures of it all day long, but it really doesn't take the place of actually being there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah. England. You just said England. What was wrong with you? You said England. Scotland.
You already know I want to go to Scotland, Val.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to my ex-best friend. Quite correct. So yeah, there you go, Peter. Peter says apologise. He would like to apologise for the Muppet of a Prime Minister. Yeah, that's in England. At least the Scottish one's half decent. I don't, like I think. Yeah, I'm in do you know what? I'm in full agreement with what Tank said. To be honest, if you can leave the country, okay, and go and visit another country, be prepared for a culture shock. And the biggest thing is get involved in the country's culture. Don't come across with, and I'm trying not to be, like putting Americans in little boxes, but try not to be a fucking dick. And like this bullshit American.
Let me put it this way, Val. Don't go to a foreign country and expect America. Embrace the differences, and because first of all, you're going to get back there again, and there's so much good in every place you can go. And like I said, when you get into places like Scotland and England, Ireland, because I'm part Irish as well, there's so much history in those places that there's no substitute for putting your eyeballs on it and having your feet on the ground. There's no substitute for that.
Absolutely. Paul's just asked a perfect question there. Where do you find the inspiration from when you make your videos? I'm glad you've never asked me that question because...
My inspiration comes from a variety of places, from my children and grandchildren. I've said many times on here that Uncle Timmy, Lena, and Steve, LUFC official, are among my greatest inspirations on here. And they are. It's Uncle Timmy's embrace of love and positivity that led me to start thinking about making content that reflects it. And that's why most of my content is associated with love and positivity and things that you can do to better, to be your best self, to live your best life. And the other thing is, I had a stroke in December of 2021. I had a month to lay in the hospital while I was getting better, to realize what a blessing life is. And the best way to show that is live it, get out there, let the sun hit you in the face, go out and be in nature, go out and be with people, embrace life because it could be gone like that.
Bravo. Absolutely. Bravo. So I want to take this opportunity now, because we're now getting to the end of the interviews. An exceptional big thank you to everybody that's come in, to the people that have asked the questions. But I want to give you this opportunity to give a shout out to anyone that you deems deserve. Can I do it in Scottish? I can't get it. I can't get my words out. I'm just saying that you deemed deserves it.
Welcome in, James. There's so many people I can do a shout out for. First and foremost, I got to shout out Tabby. Tabby encourages me to be me. She doesn't try to change me or mold me into something because she thinks that's what I should be. She lets me be who I am. It frustrates her at times, but if you're in a relationship, that happens.
I need a word with Tabby. I'll explain the fork and the shovel to her.
I would like to shout out a few of my Clapper creator friends, and if I don't mention you, that doesn't mean I love you guys any less. But I have to first and foremost shout out Fear the Reaper, Paul, because he screenshots these, or he screen records these interviews every week and makes it possible for me to put them on YouTube every following Wednesday. I also want to shout out Gangster Granny. First of all, I appreciate you hosting this, but mostly for being such a wonderful friend. And I know that anytime push comes to shove, you'll always have my back. And I appreciate it. I also want to shout out Little Val, Dirty's Midget, and One Dirty Carpenter. They are husband and wife. They are among my favorite people. And they've always been there for me and Tabby. We've gone through some things that not everybody in Clapper knew about, but they were there for us. if you're somebody I talk to on a regular basis, if I've ever invited you to be a guest, whether you've accepted or not, then you guys all mean something to me. You're all special to me. For example, I'll give you the best example of that somebody I've invited that hasn't accepted my offer yet, and that is her name now Painted Memories, but it's Tina's Corner. Tina's a finger paint artist. She's one of my favorite creators. I would love to interview her. I haven't been able to get her to commit to it, and she may not. That's not for everybody, to get up here for an hour and let me ask questions. I get it. But I appreciate, if I call you a friend, that's not something I say lightly. So, I mean, all of you, the guys that have asked, those of you that have asked questions, I appreciate it. And not just this week, but every week. You guys making these interviews as interactive as they are really, really makes it easy for me. And I'm sure it's been a pretty good help for Val today.
Vam was like, I need a big ladder. Shut up. I'm just going to say that right now. Shut up. I am taller than you think. I'm taller than I look in the camera screen. I'm just saying. Haven't travelled so much. What was your favourite food or culture that you have been around? She's talking avocados. Ash.
It's part of my heritage, and I spent 2 years there. It's got to be Italy. I love Italian food. I always have, even before I ever went there. And to be in Italy and have authentic Italian food from the local people there, it's really, truly amazing. But don't get me wrong. In the other countries that I've been in, Greece is another one. It's different. The food is different, but it's not it's still good. I mean, it's really good. And there's something, like I said, there's something good everywhere you go. And that's one thing I definitely encourage you to do when you go to a different country. Go to find an authentic restaurant that serves whatever, for Italy, it's Italian food. For Greece, it's Greek food, but do that. Find what is native to that country and try it. At least try it. You got to. You got to try.
Haggis. You come and get the haggis. England, pork pie. Says me that loves my pork pies. But, yeah, go and eat the local cuisine. Don't go looking for an American burger. And, like your fries.
Can I take a second here? We've mentioned it before, but I want to mention it again that my scheduled guest next week to be interviewed is Dirty's midget, Little Val.
Nice.
She is one Dirty Carpenter. She may be, she's one of the, I'd say lesser known creators of that I've interviewed, but she is a fascinating person and she's a really good friend. And I think once I interview her, if you don't know her, please be here for that. She's a pretty awesome person.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank everybody, especially the mods, and I thank you very, very much. I wasn't being, I was trying not to be facetious. I'm going to say that right now to the mods. But yeah, like when you're pinning them, and I know you went in order, just slow down, blonde, old. Can I go with old? I'm just saying. Tank, thank you very, very much. One, for allowing me to interview you and for letting me actually do this. This was great. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. To everybody else, I'm going to hand you back over to the big man himself.
Guys, again, everybody, thank you for helping make this easier on Val. We went into this, even Val expecting Little Val to be here, and there would be alternating questions, and she wouldn't have to come up with an hour's worth of questions all by herself. So the fact that you guys gave her so many questions to ask me is really, really helpful. And having been in that situation where there are several interviews that I've done that I know the questions that I had wouldn't fill out an hour, but because they're interactive and I always get a good response from people to come into interviews, and I'm so grateful for that.
I'm absolutely grateful to everybody that helped it, to everybody that put questions up there. Some of those questions were absolutely amazing. And they were really good answers, by the way, Tank. I mean, the
Well,
fact that you had them all written, is beside the point. Oh, shit, I wasn't meant to say that, was I? Wasn't muted, sorry.
Val, I appreciate you for actually flying solo on this since little Val had to work and she couldn't be here. You did a great job.
Thank you.
We may
Thank you
have
very much.
to get you again because that was really fun today. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Everybody, I appreciate you all for the great questions and being here to support me and Val and doing this interview and getting it done today. And with that, I'm going to say have a wonderful rest of your day, guys. And I'll see you guys in Clapper.
Bye.